So, we have been talking a lot about what did we do the last time? The shacket, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Uh, it was a really fun project. I think several of you decided to participate as well. I haven't seen any yet, so I'm hoping that you'll post them if you do.
So, we talked last time about how you were helping Brenda make the changes to hers, the fitting changes, because while Brenda looks very tall and thin and easy to fit,
Straight spine. She's really, yeah.
while helping her fit this, they found out that just because you're tall and thin doesn't mean you're easy to fit.
Well, that's true. Sometimes we look at somebody and we think, oh, she doesn't have any problem buying clothes, wearing clothes, making clothes. And that is a erroneous thought because, like I said today at lunch, we were talking. I'm only 5'1", and I've always been round or overweight at times, and I'm not difficult to fit. Be just because I don't have um, anything that goes outside the norm,
Like
like anything
asymmetrical.
asymmetrical, although, I know I'm
I mean,
asymmetrical, but
everybody
not
is, right.
drastically. Not enough that it makes a difference. And my back waist length is the normal back waist length for most patterns. And so I've never had any of these issues. So when I helped Brenda, I was puzzled a few times too because it's just something I hadn't had to deal with before. And so along the way, we struggled a couple of times getting that muslin just right. But yesterday, while I was talking to Brenda, she was telling me that even though we struggled, she's very, very pleased with the results. So I think it'd be great to ask Brenda to come in and talk about the process of not only turning the shirt into a jacket, but getting a muslin to fit you properly.
Is that you officially asking Brenda to come
Well,
in?
yeah, I was waiting for you to be able to. We'll do like musical chairs
Oh,
and
yeah, I'll
shift
move
down
down.
one. Yeah.
What? You need your cushion.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But before you sit down, let me just have you come in so they can see your
Don't
jacket.
know where I am.
Yeah, let's see. Can we get her back far enough? Not quite. Let me help. Let me just move a couple of these dummies.
This
There we
dummy.
go. Now, there is Brenda's jacket. This was made from the Man's Easy shirt. And these lovely hammered snaps that she found. And give a spin around because this is really fun. See how nicely this fits in the back? Brenda has a hollow back right here. And a lot of you may have scoliosis or you may have a curvature to your spine. And what we did here is what you'll need to do in almost any pattern to keep from having, when we put the muslin on her the first time, this all pooled back here. The fabric just pooled. And so we had to make a very specific adjustment to do that, and that was to put a seam down the back. So if you match your plaids, you don't even notice it, but you put a seam down the back, then you can easily pull out some of that excess. If you have a princess seam, you could even do it better. So any of you who have a hollow back or a very strong curve to the back, to your spine, that's what you want to think about is either a seam down the center back or the shoulder princess seam. And then you'll be able to pull just this extra in out of here. Okay, thanks, Bren. I didn't know I was going to go into all that, but have a seat and let's talk about the process.
Bernice says it looks so great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Brenda has been wearing it about about shopping and things, and had some really good experiences.
Yeah, a woman who owns a small dress shop complimented me, said she really liked my shirt.
Yeah, yeah,
That's good.
yeah, and she's gotten lots of compliments, which kind of makes all that extra effort
Yes.
worthwhile.
Yes.
So, Brenda, tell us, how many muslins do you think you made?
At least four,
Okay.
maybe more,
Mm-hmm.
probably more,
Yeah,
and many adjustments to every muslin.
right.
So,
And a lot of times it was because it was a new process. Brenda's body is a different shape than I've ever worked with. So it was, trial and error sometimes too, which
yes.
is what's going to happen to most people when they're trying to fit a muslin. There is going to be some trial and error. But one thing we always adhere to, or well, it's a rule we try to always adhere to. We're laughing because we forget, make one change at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Then sew it back up and try it on. If that change worked, then go to the next one. If you make two or three changes at one time and that doesn't work, you're flummoxed
I
as
don't know which, yeah, where to go.
where to go. So, what do you think was the biggest challenge making your muslin?
Probably the shoulders and the arms, and I wind up sending back more clothes than I keep because this is my challenge area.
So, one thing you tell me is you never get garments, ready to wear garments where the sleeves are long enough.
Yes, long sleeves.
So she's really excited about having sleeves that go all the way to her wrist.
Don't leave my wrist cold.
Yeah. And so the challenges with your shoulders were,
And the arm side.
yep,
Yes.
yes, because you're
That's-
very high up here, very high. So we had to really raise that arm side and make it hang right, especially from such a generous arm side as this pattern has. Yeah. And well, what is, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think what
Well, I
else.
will say, Pam said when I first saw Brenda's fitting, I had a huge aha moment. Her back is like mine, and I've never been happy with the fit on the back.
Mm-hmm. And I can't see my back, so
Yeah.
you need a fitting buddy.
Yeah, you really do need a fitting buddy, especially when you first start out with the measurements and everything. But when you're putting that muslin on, unless you have a 360-degree mirror, it's really hard to see everything. And so the key things when you get your first muslin done is to make sure everything's hanging straight. So always remember to put your, why don't you pull your, put your gal right up here between us. If we can both still be in the.
Yeah,
So here's Brenda's finished muslin. And of course, it started out without the sleeves and without the hood. So remember, you're going to mark the center front on both fronts. You don't need to make a placket or do anything else. That's all will work out as long as you've marked the center front and then you pin one over top of the other, because this is how it will be when you wear it. And then you want horizontal lines so that you can make sure when you turn to the side that those lines are going straight. Okay? If they start to pitch and you turn it sideways, and let's see if I can
Had
make
that
it.
for a while.
Yeah, we did. And it would pitch. I'm not doing a very good job. But if that line isn't perpendicular, parallel to the floor, if it's not parallel to the floor and perpendicular to your center front, then something's awry. You want these seams to hang straight on your side. You want your shoulders in the right place. And of course, you see Brenda has marked the seam allowance on the arm side, and she had the seam allowance marked on the neckline too. So you can see, do I need to raise it or do I need to bring it down? And it is deceptive when the seam allowance isn't marked to really know what to do. So don't skip that, mark this, and use, I love Sharpies because you can't miss it. You'll always see it. It won't be like is it there or is it over here? It's going to be real obvious. And that's what you need when you're fitting, a real obvious that it's straight and clean. Yeah.
And my shoulder lengths are different. So we had to make sure right and left with the yoke. That was
Yeah, you remember
really
when I
important.
showed you her yoke? Yeah, it was very different. And it looked like, oh, somebody made a mistake, right? But it fits perfect. And you saw her from the back, how nicely it hangs straight. But if you saw that yoke, you'd wonder, how could that be?
Yeah, right.
And when you see the person, this is the most interesting thing, is when you see the person, like we said before, you think, well, she's not hard to fit. She wouldn't be. She could probably just buy anything off the rack. And you don't see those imperfections in the person's body, but they're there.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are more complex than others, but they can all be fitted. It's just what is the key word?
Perseverance.
And
I was ready to give up, but I'm glad I didn't.
that's true. There was a couple of times when I saw that look on her face, and I'm like, oh,
Again?
oh no.
Okay, so this is your final muslin.
Mm-hmm.
How many did you make?
Well, I said at least 4, maybe more.
And
maybe
sometimes
5.
they were remade, so they
Yes.
were torn apart and put back together.
Oh yeah. Yes, lots of times.
There are times when the correction is too drastic, so you can't. You've got to recut a certain piece.
We would add pieces of fabric
Yeah.
to try to test it, and
Yeah, it was easier just to, waste a little more muslin and make sure you've got it right. But now that you have this pattern, what do you see for the future?
I saw something in the magazine. At first glance, I thought it was a denim vest with a plaid shirt underneath. Turns out it was a shirt with
Like a
denim.
jacket?
Yeah, like a jacket and plaid sleeves. So that's my next one after Christmas.
So like flannel. You can use the flannel. Are you going to do snaps or buttons?
I think I really like the snaps.
I do too.
I really like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the tip on the snaps is
Tools. There, who knew there were so many different types of snaps? So
Yeah. And Brenda is the one who had to go through really heavy construction traffic in the middle of the day to run over and get the tools so we could get the snaps on in time for that Tuesday's
right.
So Karen once said that she's finding comfort in your misery, Brenda, because she too is having a hard time. So,
And we're here to help you. And if you have just one quick question, please just send it to me in an email. If you want consultation and have someone help you fit the muslin, there is a package on the website. It's fitting support, I think it's called. Yeah. But in the meantime, you can get the fitting critique form downloaded for free, and it'll tell you how to prepare your muslin so that you get everything prepared properly, because it's very hard to fit it. If you don't have these lines on here, you don't know what's going wrong. And if you don't have those seam allowances marked, you don't know exactly. And it was very important on Brenda because we had to really take this arm site in.
Oh, yes.
We had to take it in and up. But it was really easy to see that when it was on her body and that seam allowance was marked. We're like, well, that's sticking way out away from her body. She needs it closer. So
We had trouble at the neckline too.
yes.
Shoulder seam and the neckline, and we could pinch it out very easily.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
Yeah, sometimes you can do that simple little pinch and that'll do it. And then you can go over to your pattern and say, okay, 1/4 of an inch, take that out of there. But again, don't do it and call it good until you've tested it. That's our best advice because we like to use good quality fabric, better fabrics. So we're not paying $4 a yard for our fabric. So that's what we're paying for our muslin about,
Right.
$4 or $5 a yard. So that's okay. We don't mind making a couple of those and if they don't work out. But when we get to the fashion fabric, just like you, we've worked hard for our money. And we want it to count for something. So you want to make sure that pattern is all that it needs to be before you
No
cut
waters.
it. No waters here. We've had them. I've had them.
Yes.
Okay. What else, Jess? Doesn't seem to be a lot of chatter or questions or anything. Does anybody have any uh, questions about making a muslin, making a shirt, or any sewing dilemmas that you might be experiencing this holiday?
We have video on making your muslin.
Do we have a
YouTube.
video?
YouTube fitting.
Yeah.
Some fitting.
Yeah, we do have some fitting. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Thanks. On YouTube, you'll find some fitting, really good help. There's knit as well as woven. And I had a little quick thing on there about making a muslin. And basically, it's just make a muslin.
Right.
You know, unless you've made the pattern before, give yourself, or you have a sloper that you can compare it to. But if you don't have either one of those, then make the muslin real quick, and you'll be glad you did. You know, we never know, especially if it's a new pattern maker and you haven't tried their patterns before. You don't know how much ease is in there. You don't know, what the fit for the fit model was. And it might not be just right for you, even though maybe you've made that person's pattern before. And I know this happened to me when I was a younger sewer, and I'd buy like a McCall's. And one time I'd buy a medium, and the next time I'd buy the medium, and it didn't fit. It was way too big. Well, what happened? Well, they moved their mediums from 10, 12, 14 to 12, 14, 16. And then it didn't fit me anymore. So a muslin would have helped me out a lot because I wasted fabric that time. Yeah.
Oh, could you explain to Connie what you were talking about the download? You said she says what is it that she just mentioned to download?
You can download it'll be on the fitting page. Did you want to I know you got a lot of work to do.
I do.
Say goodbye to Brenda, everybody. Thanks,
If you
Brenda.
have more questions for Brenda, we can always yell to the other room.
Yeah. So where was I?
The download. What?
Oh, yeah. So on the fitting page, there is a fitting critique, which is a free download. And that's going to tell you how to prepare your muslin. So it's going to tell you where to start, which lines to draw, where to draw them, and get everything prepared. And then should you need a critique from me, it'll show you how to take the photographs. That's a free download. You can also purchase the fitting support, which includes that same material, but also gives you 3 consultations with me through photographs. And those photographs are the biggest problem we have. Otherwise, we do great. But people taking photographs that are too low a resolution. So if you're taking a picture with your cell phone, double check the resolution. It used to be cell phones would only take 72 dpi. That's dots per inch, and that's a very small photograph. And when you get it on your computer, you can't blow it up. It'll just lose its...
A lot of the time, it's like not even so much what your camera takes, but when you send it,
Yeah.
make sure you're sending
That too.
the full.
Yeah. But also, I have people taking pictures of themselves in a mirror. Those are not good photographs because you're holding the camera. So chances are, and you need to show me several views, you're twisting your body around, and I can't tell if that's hanging right or not. Plus, taking a picture in a mirror, just not good. I'm getting glare from lights in the background, all your makeup jars in the front. Best place is against a blank wall and have somebody else take the picture straight on from the center of the body. Don't shoot up, don't shoot down, shoot straight on.
Yeah, like Janet is not going to share these photos with anybody. She will not be posting them to Facebook without anybody's permission for sure. So don't worry about how you might look. Worry about how you normally look, how you normally stand, how you normally feel, so that she could see. Because you're asking for fitting questions. If you're sucking in and trying to do a model pose, or if you're just like, okay, take the picture, then she's not going to be able to see that.
So, key things are, I've got to see that side seam. And people that got a camera, then their side seam's not hanging there. It's up in
Oh,
the air because they're doing this. So I've got to see that. I've got to see this shoulder seam right here. So when you turn sideways, I've got to see where that lays. And obviously center back. I got to see that everything's hanging straight. And when it's not, then I know what to tell you to do. If it's all hanging straight, you don't need me. You're done. If everything's hanging and fitting well, you're doing great. But should it not be, and you don't know quite what to do to fix it, that's what I'm here for. And that's what that fitting support package will do. And we'll go back and forth, and I'll give you instructions. You'll send me pictures. I put notes, and I actually even draw on the pictures so that we can be really clear on what you need to do to fix it. And then I know you're going to be happy because we've gotten lots of emails from people who have found their way through the fitting and now are on the other side and feel so empowered to make, twice as many clothes now because there's no stress before you cut it out. So it's an exciting process.
what is it called? The download.
There's one's called fitting support and one's called fitting critique.
Okay.
The fitting critique is a free download. The fitting support has a price to it. I couldn't tell you what it is right now. It's not high or anything, but
Yeah.
okay.
Connie was asking. She's like, "Is it the measurement chart?" No. You want the critique or the support?
Yeah, the measurement chart is for the pant. So if you are drafting pants from my pant drafting book, then that's what you need is that measurement chart. And every time you draft a pair of pants, you need a new chart. So the book has one in it, but if you fill it out, then you're done. So we make it so you could just print out as many as you want.
So it's all on the fitting page, and I will put that in the comments right now if anybody wants to take a look.
So, one of the reasons we asked Brenda to talk today was because yesterday, as she is telling me how excited she was to be getting compliments everywhere she went in her jacket, the comfort of the jacket, the fact that the sleeves were long enough. She was so excited. And I hear from people through, emails, the same thing. I just don't feel like it's enough of you. I want everybody to feel that excited and that happy about their patterns and putting them together. So I'm here to help. And of course, we're here for all kinds of sewing information. So, you have a sewing question. I don't know if I can answer them. I can't answer everything there is to know about sewing, but I will be able to help you in most cases. So I would love to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I think just, to expand on this situation, I know there were multiple times Janet and I talk on the phone. She's like, "Oh my gosh, we're working on this. Brenda's muslin. We're working on Brenda's muslin. Oh, we're working on Brenda's muslin. We're working on Brenda's muslin." Like, it's like the whole gambit of emotions. And I know that there were times there were, for both of them, that was a lot of frustration. So to see Brenda being able to wear it as much as she is, to be excited about it, to brag about it, to get compliments on it, it just reminds you why it's worth it.
Yeah.
And now she's gonna move forward. I'm really super excited about the denim.
Yeah.
So she's able to move forward now and have that under her belt. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort. But moving forward,
Yeah.
it should be a lot quicker to
Right.
make those different changes, and even just using a different fabric, using buttons instead of snaps, like all that
Shorter,
stuff that
longer.
we've talked about before. Now she has that foundation.
Oh, she
And it
could
was a
turn
lot
this
of work.
into a full-length trench.
Yes.
She could go anywhere with this, and that's what's so exciting. And when we did the Stop the Insanity thing, we were, pushing toward that once you get 2 or 3 basic patterns, you can make almost anything from those patterns with very few exceptions. And then you could copy your favorite garment that you've had in your closet that's wearing out, or some fine ready to wear that you saw that you didn't want to pay that price. You'll be able to do that because you'll have your sloper, your basic pattern, your basic fit, and the rest is all fun.
Connie said she can't believe we got her to come on camera. It was quite the discussion at lunch. Even a little arm twisting by.
I did, and I apologize for that. But I would do it again.
But Brenda is a team player, and she deserves the recognition. She does so much here. She doesn't like
Yes.
being on camera, and we respect that. But as awesome as her shirt turned out, it just needed to be shown on the person, because that's what we're talking about, the fitting. We can put it on a dress form all we want, but you're really not going to see it until it's on her.
Just like all those beautiful clothes in the department store. They look great on the dress form. Then you take them in the dressing room, you go, oh no, that's not going to work.
All right. Yes. So Janet mentioned the fabric sale too. If anyone has questions, throw them in
Yeah.
the comments. Brenda, Julia says you're the bomb.
You're the bomb, Brenda.
Oh, she's working. Sorry.
She's
guys.
working. Sorry, she went
Went
into
right back to work.
She's shipping. So if you've got an order in,
It's coming with your free purchase.
your free gift.
Free gift. Free purchase. Your free purchase. What is that?
I don't
Your
know.
free gift with purchase. 20% off all fabric. Any fabric purchase will get a
Including
free
clearance.
gift.
Including clearance. So
Yeah.
you'll get that extra 20% off the clearance. So
Yes.
don't miss that page as well if you're shopping.
Yes, definitely check that out. I'll see. I can put the link. Any fabric on clearance is an additional 20% off with a free gift.
Code is Frosty. Frosty, as in Frosty the Snowman.
Keep talking.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I've been talking a lot. Um, Well, I opened it up. If anybody had any questions, I didn't get any more questions. Let me think. If I have anything new to share? I don't know. Just in passing, I was looking at a garment, a very expensive garment, and it was on sale, and it was online, and I'm like toying with, do I really want to spend that much? So I slide down to the description, and the fabric was terylene. I believe that's spelled Terylene. Very close to that anyway. And that doesn't sound familiar to me, so I look it up. It's old school polyester.
With a new school name.
Yeah, and they can keep it because we all know why it's old school. Nobody wanted it. They said, as I read the description, it's shiny. So you remember back in the 60s, those of you who were there with me? I remember Kiana? Was that the name of the fabric? But it was really shiny. All the polyester was shiny. What?
I was not there.
You weren't there. And, well, yeah, it's just, and it doesn't breathe at all. So I'm reading about this fabric, and I'm thinking, well, the print on this fabric was gorgeous. And I'm thinking, well, maybe the polyester prints better. That's why they did it. But then as I go down, I'm looking for the drawbacks. No breathability at all, it said. And it was a pullover top. I'm like, no. No.
Maybe if you're like a wrestler, you're trying to cut that weight.
Yeah, if you're trying to sweat instead of a plastic bag, put that on. But anyways, so watch for that. Terylene it's called. And like I said, it was a very expensive brand and a very expensive, but one of the big issues that's a really big pet peeve of mine, and Jessica knows that, is that...
I can't imagine which pet peeve it is. I can't wait.
I think it's number 38.
Oh, okay.
And
yes.
is that we don't know fiber content as a general rule as consumers. And so, therefore, a person who goes to one of these high end stores, and let's say this little pullover top's $300, she doesn't know what that fiber is worth as it compares to $300. In other words, I'd pay $300 if it was cashmere, but I'm not paying $300 for polyester. That's foolish. It's not worth it.
But you don't know that because you figure it's $300.
Exactly. And so, what I learned early on when I was producing my line of clothing was that the general consumer in America judges quality by one thing: price tag. That's it. And the reason I know that is because I was selling these beautiful wool capes. Jessica helped me with that. She was there.
I was there for that.
And these wool capes were selling at fine department stores or similar items for 300 and up. But I had it for 165 because I wanted to sell them. And I could still make a good profit at 165, so I was happy. And these wealthy women would walk into my shop, and you can tell, and they'd try them on, and they'd really like it, but they wouldn't buy it. And I was puzzled because surely she knows the quality, and we would explain the quality, and still they weren't necessarily buying them. Well, then I came across and read an article, and I read this article that talked about that very thing. And so, anyway, long story short, I raised the price to 200, and I started selling a whole lot more. So then I put them at 200 and 225 and sold more, just because the price apparently was commensurate with the quality now. But at 165, they're thinking it's cheap and they don't want it, even though it was a great bargain and they didn't realize it. So I guess that's my little aside for today.
And Margaret has an aside as well. She knows what you were talking about. She said she made her wedding dress out of the Kiana.
Oh, yeah.
Should have worked great for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do have a question. Julia says, I have several pieces of cotton lawn that I got from your live sale. Good job. She says, neither is big enough for a shirt. I need a source of solid color cotton lawn that's the same quality as yours.
I have no idea. I've never bought the solids. I'm sure that if you Google it, you'll find it. It's at least in white. At least in white, you'll find it. But I'm sure that it comes in solids. I just don't purchase it in solids. So yeah. That's the best I can do. Other than I don't know where you live, but if you're near Los Angeles or New York, then you got a really good shot because you can go into those big fabric
You
stores.
just happen to live in one of those places.
Yeah, you can go into it used to be, there were a lot more of them, but there aren't anymore.
I'm sure we could help you if you find it online. It has the appropriate information, right?
The lawn?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to go by weight. So take a look. I think ours is it's 2 something an ounce. That's the weight. Fabric is measured weight by ounces per square yard, and so that lawn is probably a 2.6 or 2.4. It's on the website. You'll be able to see it. So if you're trying to get a similar weight of fabric, then check that, because lawn could be slightly heavier or a lot lighter. I bought one the other day that was a lot lighter, and it's more, it's a lot thinner. You can see through it. You're going to have to underline it or whatever when it gets really lightweight like that.
She said Mood has it in white, so that might be what she comes up with.
Yeah, and just check the weight on it. But most lawns should be similar. But like I said, I came across that one the other day, and it was below 2 ounces. And sometimes you're going to see, depending on where you're shopping, if you're looking at weight, you're going to see grams per square meter. So ounces per square yard is OSY. And grams per is GSM. Grams per square meter. And a meter's a little bit longer than a yard, so you got to kind of take all that in. But
Just get a calculator.
go on Google and convert it.
Yes, or do that.
Yeah, you can just go convert ounces per square yard, and it'll automatically come up for you to grams per square meter. But that's the only thing I would say is just to get a similar weight. Okay, what else, Jess?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, we're going to continue with the newsletters on a pretty regular basis. So be sure to look at next week's newsletter. Hint, hint. And yeah, we've got a lot of exciting things that we're planning for next year, early part of the year too. So I know that you guys are missing us. We do get your emails and we miss you too, but we're getting some projects ready for next year and we really needed the time to be able to do that. So I think you'll be really, really pleased when we do present those. All right. And if you're making Christmas presents, don't make yourself crazy. Try not to wait till the last minute. and
Says who?
have fun with it.
Do as I say. Do as I do.
Well, yeah, I just
I'm
realized.
speaking from experience. We're speaking from experience here. So.
I don't know how December got here so fast.
Oh,
I
gosh.
don't know. I was, yeah. But anyway.
It's been a wild ride.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so yeah, we will be back. And of course, islandersewing@comcast.net with any questions you may have. That's the easiest way to reach us.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you can call as well. And don't forget YouTube. We broke the
2000.
2000.
Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, please do, or encourage your friends who like to sew to as well. The larger the audience, the more exciting it is for everybody. Mm-hmm. So we would love to have more people. And of course, it gives you instant access to all those sew-alongs. When we still archive them on Facebook, but it's harder to find the stuff on Facebook. It's so easy.
And they're changing it all the time.
Yes.
It's different on different devices and stuff like that. And of course, we still want to do our live show here and everybody's accustomed to that. But if you want to go back, you can look on Facebook, but we are able to do those playlists and stuff on YouTube, which makes it really easy.
Yeah, you can go in, if you've bought one of the patterns that we did a sew along on, you can go right to that sew along and you're off to the races. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year.
Everything, all the holidays.
All the holidays.
Festivus.
Every single one of them. I don't know about that.
I can't wait for that one.
Festivus.
That's my favorite.
There are people that actually do that.
It'd be fun.
Airing all your grievances?
Yeah.
As long as you kept the light heart about it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think they did on Seinfeld, though.
Well, that could be therapeutic.
Okay.
We all need that.
Yes, we do. We do. Yes.
We don't need to hear it, though. We just need to release it. So maybe we could just everybody do it
themselves.
On their own.
Yeah. So anyway, but have a blessed holiday.
Yes.
And enjoy all of your sewing. And we will look forward to seeing you very soon.
All right.
Happy New Year.